let's have a white pill for a change. A bit of good news. Good news that was in fact inevitable, as we shall see. So we have to discuss the rainbow community, the intersectionality crowd, which means it stands for lesbians, gays, blacks, and transvestites. You know, the people who think everything is the fault of straight white men. And I can't help but think maybe if one group is more focused on adhering to the laws of Mother Nature and objective reality itself, well, they might go further than another one comprised of lowbrow wankers who study queer theory bitching about f***ry all damn day. I don't know about you, but I suspect that might suffice as an adequate explanation for the disparity. But I was watching Patrick Bet-Davis on Valuetainment earlier. They had the Buffalo from TYT on, and that one has lost his freaking mind since 2016. You should hear him on that interview. The guy actually agreed with Clinton's basket of deplorable comment. Like, of all the things to agree with her on, Jink, you went with the one comment that perfectly encapsulates her demonic elitism that really damaged her campaign. A true progressive you are. There's no wonder you got less than 5% of the vote when you ran for office, you roaming buffalo. But the Buffalo went on to defend the indefensible when it comes to those books in schools, even after Patrick tried to make the case to him via the parental view of stop playing politics, there's children involved here. Which is not a surprise, mind you. This is the man who also defended buggering animals if they got a happy ending. Also defended that cliched rubbish of, oh, well, you're 18, you can do what you want now. This is not a moral man, ladies and gentlemen. So allow me to go off with something contentious, as I'm prone to do lately. I've said a few times now, an apolitical analysis of the world will make you right-wing by default. And this is where I'm going to hopefully annoy some of you, because it means you're paying attention. The democratic model that the West is currently running on, from a historical perspective, is a disfigured freak show. And if you're wondering what I'm referring to with that statement, yes, our current society is drowning to death in excessive feminine toxicity. Why? Because women are not supposed to wield power. It is not in their nature. Like Ayn Rand said about a woman running for president, no good woman should want that position. The democratic model fuels the archetype of the enabling mother, and now we have this psychotic obsession with atomization and freedom to the point of disassociation with objective reality and any shred of standards the old world held dear. How's it working out for you all? Are you happy with the present state of society? Let me pitch to you all a hypothetical. Say you were a king or lord of some territory or region. Would you be okay with 18-year-olds in your society permanently scarring and mutilating themselves? Would you think this is acceptable? Do you think any king who condones this is a good one who cares about the health and well-being of his people? No. You would think he's either a weak king or a barbarian. So why in the name of God do we condone this in our society? If we have a state that not only condones this, but actively encourages the damaging of its own population, our civilization deserves to die off. I pray for it to be subsumed by a superior power that actually values human life. I can't speak for all of you, but I don't want to be governed by feminized excess. I want a society that shames, shuns, that sets boundaries and enforces it. I want a well-ordered patriarchal king to rule. I have no problem with the monarch. I would much rather bow and declare my loyalty to a good king than kiss the feet of all of you peasants under the symbolic guise that you are somehow my equal. Ah, you fuck. I am better than a hell of a lot of you, and the king is a better man than I, and I am content with this. If what I just said does not stir you or make you think, visit a doctor, you may be dead inside. Or a Democrat. But anyway, they pulled up this Hills article and this chart that showed high school boys are now trending more conservative. Geez, I wonder what could possibly be responsible for that. It couldn't possibly be because you're trying to force-feed them an ideology of self-hatred and blame that can only lead to a dead end of misery and depression, is it? It's not because a male jacked with guns and ammo blowing shit up sounds far more fun than some pencil-necked dork on his knees begging for female attention, which is all the sex appeal of a prison lavatory now, is it? I can imagine the comment section, people are going to be thinking, prison lavatory, you posh bastard. Says it's omitting moderates, it's also omitting liberals, so why make the distinction? Who knows? Never mind what the article says, though. Articles write statistical noise and ask backwards interpretations. No one cares. We are here for my interpretation, which is a lot less cringe and gay. But speaking of that, let's try an honest analysis here, shall we? So one void of the evil machinations that is politics. This indoctrination in the schools, because that's what it is, let's not kid ourselves. It's a cultist religion. So view it that way, not through the objective, rational, scientific method kind of lens. Which is very confusing because these people tout the science as if it's gospel, which isn't scientific at all, but it makes perfect sense when viewed religiously. The scientists, or the much-touted, always vague experts, so-called, are the priestly clergy with the anointed wisdom that we must never question, except I will because I'm not a sheepish moron. When boys and girls hit puberty, they develop sexual characteristics. They become aware of things. They become awakened, so-called. Boys see a surge of testosterone. They develop denser muscle tissue. They become more aggressive. Why? Because they can produce offspring. The men, being the bigger of the two genders, are designed to protect the carriers of the young, the women. Combine that normal teenage rebellious spirit with the bright colors of that demonic ideology that would in nature scream poison, do not consume. There is a signal inside the young male mind that says something is wrong here. They might not be able to articulate it just yet, but that signal is gut instinct. That is the brewing spirit of Mother Nature's masculinity kicking in with a force, and it wants to destroy it. Because even young boys can tell that thing is a threat. That instinct is in your blood, it is in your bones, it is woven into your DNA, and it is immune to political indoctrination, and it will never, ever be beaten. We are mammals, we have genetic code, programming, a nature, and we are designed to breed. And just to point it back to a cultural perspective, the rainbow community is seriously uncool. It is poison. It's kind of funny watching the machinery try and push it into everything. Because in their minds, they think, well, humans need entertainment, so put it there. And no, that is not how humans work, you dorks. You can't make them consume vomit. The visceral reaction to you is natural because, again, you're poison, and unnatural. They want to vomit it up. It's very simple. Something that I thought was very interesting that hit me a while ago. If you look at this style of indoctrination, it's overwhelmingly women, and then again, many educators, unfortunately, are women. Again, don't give women power.
Women probably shouldn't be allowed to be teachers.
Thank you, Carl. Always nice when you write and then you stumble upon something like that, unexpectedly. Bit of serendipity, always welcomed. But I've often thought their basic structure was simply indoctrinator, indoctrinatee. And I incorrectly assumed the indoctrinator must have some semblance of free will, of understanding of what they're doing. I completely dismissed just how indoctrinated they themselves are. So I had to come up with a new thesis. So here is what I think now. Imagine a pyramid of indoctrination levels, so level 1 to 5, let's say. The ones doing the indoctrination are only equipped with a level of understanding for whom they're trying to indoctrinate and no more. So it's very economical. So let's take a fresh mind they assume is susceptible, so the youth. The indoctrinator is no higher than level 1, maybe 2 at best. And a while ago, I saw a video on Twitter, which was on my old account. Thanks, browser, for logging me off. I can't remember the username and password, but long story. But it was a clip of an English school and a teacher discussing the usual gender propaganda bollocks, and these two young girls were flat out rejecting it. Sharp two girls, even hitting the teacher with that whole line of, well, if I have to respect your belief, why can't you respect mine? Very based. And the teacher clearly had never faced any pushback at all. Because when confronted with these incredibly basic facts of reality thrown at her dumb face, her only recourse was punishment. That should make you pause and realize something. This ideology, in reality, is incredibly weak and brittle. A child can crumble it by simply going, nah, that's bollocks. And that's it. Flat out rejection, and it falls to dust. But I want to address a men's issue here, because there was a Politico article entitled, "Democrats Have a Man Problem." No shit, you plebs. You think maybe making toxic masculinity the cornerstone of your political ideology for about a decade or so might alienate men? Shocking! That's not a satirical uttering, by the way. I am legit shocked they have any semblance of self-awareness at all, even if it is just window dressing and playing make-believe. In case this is not blindingly obvious by now, men and women are not the same. They are not interchangeable. Men are bigger, stronger, faster. Upper echelons, we are the smartest. There's an obvious reason why men are top of the world. It's not rocket science. Men have a nature and women have a nature. A woman's nature is to be submissive and nurturing. Again, I don't care about your political whimperings. Go whine to someone who gives an ass. Women have the power to make life. Ladies, do you not understand that's pretty powerful? And when the culture around you celebrates abortion as freedom, symbolically, you are actually being stripped of your power, and many women don't even realize this. It's going to take a man to point it out to them, or in this case, a top hat sporting metalhead. A man's nature is to conquer and to dominate. That is how Mother Nature, or Mother Gaia, or God, or whatever deity you believe in, has designed us to be. And if you combine the two pieces, we create life. This is the natural order of things, the family. A successful, advancing civilization has this structure as the basis of their order. This is the reason why the monarchical order works, because its structure is built on the family. It's natural, whereas democracy is a cesspool of corruption and unnatural, hence why it fails. And yes, I must deprogram all of you back into sanity. That is what I do here, under the guise of sounding authoritative and charming with this accent of mine. Men have an abundance of force and energy that can be channeled into duty and goodwill, into a positive creation a la family and civilization. Women are supposed to be the property of men. And yes, I know that language is very archaic, very contentious, because we have a society full of debilitated faggots offended by everything. Again, blow your politics out of your ass, I do not care. It is because you work for your property. You don't destroy it. You take care of it. You cherish it. That is why we use that phrase. Well, that and its religious connotations. Nowadays, property almost exclusively means objects, which is really weird that feminists chant this bullshit of, oh, we are more than just our bodies, and yet we have more sluts and women objectifying themselves than ever before. It's a very strange time we live in. If what is considered natural to men is demonized and shunned, that energy will not dissipate into the ether. It will sour and turn into negative, destructive chaos. They will either destroy themselves or destroy society. Take a look around you. Look at the demographics that have a weakened family structure. It is disorderly and in ruins because patriarchal societies rule and matriarchal societies suck ass. If you have a society where one group is deemed incapable of doing anything wrong, are held accountable for nothing, meanwhile the other one is blamed for everything and can do nothing right, where do you think that is going to lead? Hey, preachers of equality, does that sound equal to you? That's not even equalizing, for heaven's sakes. Let me give you ladies a spoonful of truth, no pun intended. If you don't heed this warning, it will come back to bite you. It is inevitable. Men are bigger and stronger and more forceful. You are not, cannot, and will never be our equal. Men compete with other men. You are not supposed to be in competition with us. If you try and enter the arena as an equal, you will be seen no longer as the damsel that needs protection, you will be seen as competition and as weaker prey, and you will be beaten. That's pretty bad as it is. You want to make it worse? Keep demonizing men. Anyone who knows nature, knows a beast that's cornered and thinks its survival is at stake, will fight ruthlessly. And if men are fed up to the point of organization because they deem you a threat, oh, you will unleash carnage. This model is not sustainable. You can either course correct with a sense of dignity or take society down with your smugness. And if you think hell hath no fury like a woman scorn is bad, wait till you see the Adam version of this. There is a reason why Queen Victoria said if women were to try and unsex themselves and become equal to men, they would become the most hateful, heathen, and disgusting of beings that would surely perish without male protection. Again, God bless Queen Victoria. Ladies, you are supposed to revere the men of your society. However, if you want them to be good men, then you must behave in a manner that signals you are worthy of resource allocation, because when it boils down to it, you and the family they wish to create with you are an investment. And in reality, people care a great deal about their investment because they dump their blood, sweat, and tears into it. It is their life's work. If you cone off all the avenues of release or constructive power outlets and deem them all as toxic, that energy must still go somewhere. Where do they go? They go online. There's no surprise if you look at the internet, to the uninitiated parts of it seems like hellish pits of misogyny, or heavenly if you have a sense of humor about things. It's always fun to see the sensitive types freak out about the spice online, as if they've never been confronted with reality. There is a reason why you find even women in these spaces as well, because they don't like women either, and the one place they can turn to laugh at the stuff that annoys them about their own sex is men. And you ladies that can laugh at those kind of jokes, you keep men sane, God bless you. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.